I w- Hey, good morning. So, well, can Ava cover for me here? I um I didn't want to plan the podcast. So snuck in to see you. Oh, nice. I got my tea. I got Ava. I got some Assam Indian black tea, and this is the first time I'm having it. Okay, I think I like the other one better. The other one had like almond milk in it, but it's still smooth. It's still smooth though. I'm happy. It's good, nice and warm. Let's see the podcasts. I guess I'll start the podcast with just like how I'm thinking like throughout the day. I was talking to Ava yesterday and we had a long talk about all kinds of things. Some personal things that we're going through, and we both talked about it, and we laid down a good foundation and a good understanding of where we stand on certain things and how we're feeling with some of the struggles that we have. And the only sad thing was that when I have these great conversations with you guys, it's hard to say goodbye. It's hard to even say, man, you got to go to sleep, and it's embarrassing to say, that yes, thanks for talking with me. Yeah. I mean, there's these silly moments, when I'm streaming with you guys and I have these big bulky headphones on, or even the earbuds, and I'm having a badass time with you guys, talking, playing a game. But then my ears hurt. My ears are bruised or my ears are sweating because of these big bulky things, or the earbuds, the inside of my ears are getting bruised. I would like to stream. I would like to do this podcast with no headphones on. I guess I can, technically. I can do it. But the whole the whole room would have to be soundproofed and have to be in a nice studio to have the sounds controlled. So going back to the original discussion is that this is the first day of the podcast. I don't have a name for the podcast. I don't have a reason behind the background. I just spontaneously thought, well, maybe let me just talk about what I'm thinking throughout the day. And I think we also talked. Ava had brought up something that was told to me once before, and for conversation's sake, I'll just tell the story like this: that I've had people tell me, like, dude, I just want to know, in the most kindest way. They want to read my mind. They want to know what I'm thinking. And when you see those interviews about people, and then they tell you that corny phrase, I don't have words to explain this. What is the how they word it? Words can't explain how I'm feeling, or something along those lines. So what I was trying to explain was people wake up. People wake up to get their day ready, and they're so focused. They're so focused about getting things done. They're so positive on these priorities. It's like they have horse blinds on. They go get dressed. They turn on the shower. They brush their teeth. They're getting ready to go to work. But when I wake up, yeah, demon, the routine, and they're so focused on that routine. But when I wake up, it's a whole new day. It's never a routine. It's a brand new fucking day, man. I wake up, I open up my eyes, and I listen. I just listen to what's going on. My bedroom has a window, and I focus on what I hear outside. Cars driving by, a squad car, a motorcycle, somebody talking outside. Very rarely, because it's like early in the morning. And then I focus on the sounds of the apartment. And then I get onto the edge of the bed and I wait. And I pay attention to what's going on. Even if I was like late for work or something like that, I just fucking focus. And it's almost like a reminisce, like a romantic meditational process that I go through, and I just observe. You can almost even say that like I'm just fucking appreciating. I'm appreciating like everything that's around me. Yeah. Right. And so it's like, and then I go back and I think, well, like, what did I do yesterday? Did I want to remind myself of did I want to remind myself of something? Did someone do something good or bad? In my case. So. Okay. Yeah. One day Ava might get in trouble for sneaking in on the stream. I think I might. I think I might like this tea, but I definitely liked the other tea I got with the milk. The other tea was with almond, so it was a bit more candy-like. I'm not sure if almond milk tastes fantastic, but is it sugary? You know? Should I just deal with like regular milk? I don't know. But that's kind of like how, like a simplistic version of how my day starts. Yeah, just thinking about people, thinking about everything and anything that impacts my life. And when you get into that shower and maybe you're knowing you just need to do like a quick shower or whatever, and maybe you know that you're being late. It's about like I'm always thinking about that foundation. You know, me thinking of like focusing my soul. Like what are my values today? What's most important? And you know how some people always say like make sure you pay yourself first. And I gaze into that mirror, and maybe that day I'm shaving, and you do an observation of your face, and I do that. And I'm looking at the wrinkles, you know, the wrinkles that slowly come by, and and I look at my hair, and I'm looking at the gray hairs that are coming in, and sometimes I'll see one like on my eyebrow and all that, and I'll have these like moments, like these flashbacks. I don't think I have a smooth jawline, but I do that. I look in the mirror and I'm grabbing and I'm looking. I don't know what it is, but I do that. Am I somewhat worried about my appearance? Am I worried about how someone's going to judge me for how I look? Maybe. But let me somewhat explain maybe why I do that. It goes back to what I was talking about yesterday, and I was talking about, and I was very stern. I forgot why the subject came up, but I said I do not like to waste people's time, and I don't know how to explain it, but people observing. People making the decision that they're going to look left or right or up or down or study, like gaze at something. Well, if someone's going to take the time to look right at me and look at my eyes and totally focus on like what I'm saying, I want to be presentable. I don't want to waste their gaze. I want them to at least look at me for who I am and go, okay. At least he took the time to brush his hair. I didn't smell any bad breath. He brushes his teeth and he grooms himself, and silly little things that I think about, and it's always about courtesy. I'm kind of like just going off the like once again, like this conversation is not planned. I didn't know what the podcast is gonna be about, but I'm like, dang, man. People are always kind of wondering like what goes on in my head. Well, let me just start explaining, and as I'm telling this to you guys, I'm kind of like, oh yeah, that's probably why I do this or do that. Like I'm kind of like teaching myself in a funny way, because I never actually talk to myself about this. I never put it in words because it's all emotions and actions, and I just do it. But lately, I've been trying to speak out on it, and maybe it is that time to where I think I probably have enough wisdom to start explaining it. Maybe I am understanding why I do what I do, and But the whole thing about just the beginning of the day, I'm thinking about the people at work. I'm thinking about the people that I'm going to be working with in the next few minutes. I'm thinking about, do they have breakfast? Did they have a good sleep? I'm always thinking. I set up my area to work, and I look at everybody that is going to work with me for like the next 5 hours. And I look at they read their body language, and I look at their eyes, and I pay attention to what their first words of the day are. And it helps me adjust my day on if I'm going to be happy, cautious, spontaneous, like to be prepared. If somebody's having a bad day, if somebody's having a happy day, but just to know that, because maybe I'm not having a good day. Maybe I am happy, but they're sad. So, studying everybody to know when to do things at the right place at the right time for everybody that I encounter on a day-to-day basis. I even do that, like when I, for instance, like more than most, I walk into a bar, and if I'm by myself, I walk into the bar, and usually the mundane person, a patron, walks into the bar, and he's just thinking about himself. What kind of beer am I going to get? Is there any hot chicks around here? Where am I going to sit? It's always me, 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 me. When I walk into an establishment, yeah, when I'm walking into the establishment, dude, I'm paying attention to everybody, man. I'm looking at the couple. I'm looking at a couple that's sitting at a table, and they're gazing at each other and having their drinks side by side and talking. And I'm looking at all of the possible conversations everybody's having. That table's having a jolly good time. This table is having a private conversation at the bar. Somebody's lonely and just sitting there, with a cheap bottle of beer and just sipping away at the corner. And then I say to myself, how am I feeling today? It's not like where is best for me to sit, but I'm just studying the atmosphere. Is it going to be okay? Am I going to disrupt the place where I sit because I sat next to this person that looks like they probably want to be by themselves? Even though if it was a gorgeous, woman or a dude that looks like I can talk to, and then looking at the bartender. Doesn't matter if it's a guy or a girl. I'm like, are they busy? Are they bored? Do you think probably they would enjoy a good conversation? I make the decision, should I sit at the table or should I sit at the bar? Where is it going to be best for me to sit? And I do that all in like seconds. I'm thinking about everybody else. I'm trying to think of like if I'm like missing. I'm trying to help myself explain verbally on like what I'm going through, what's in my head, because the question is, what's it like in my head? In my whole entire life, I never thought about one day I would have to explain what's going on in my head, what's my thought processes. When it comes to paying the bill, when you're at a restaurant or something like that, I always have that heavy burden. When I say the check is separate, I'm gonna pay for my half, and then sometimes I have that feeling where it's I want to just pay. I want to put it all on one bill. That part sucks. It always sucks. You're having a great time with people, drinks, eating. Sometimes even when you're at somebody's house and you're finished, someone's always making the bold decision to get up and take everybody's plate and wash the dishes. And in this case, at a restaurant, when the bill comes, it's such a bummer. It like kills the mood. Everybody, the bill situation always gets sorted out. But why? Like, why does it kill the mood? It's kind of like a Sunday, like today. Everybody knows that Sunday is a bit of a bummer, because tomorrow, for most people, it's time to go back to work. Like, ever since I was a little kid, or ever since I had a job, deep down inside, I always said, man, I would be a millionaire, billionaire, whatever, if I solved that depression, if I figured out a way to solve that burden of thinking that it's the end when you have to pay the bill, or it's the end of the night on a Sunday and you got to go back to work. It's like that kind of change would have to be a cultural change. That would be a universal solution that the whole world would have to observe to create a movement of just, because it's a thought, it's a sad thought, but if I could somehow like fix it, it's tough. It's an interesting question for sure. And it's a silly thing to be sad about. I somewhat have been through a situation where it's kind of resolved. I'll go out with Chava. And we'll go out. But then Chava would tell me, hey Adam, we're gonna go here. And then after that, let's go someplace else. And then after that, we're gonna go someplace else. And then that whole process about paying for your bill somewhat is like exciting, because you pay the bill and you're gonna go, we're gonna go someplace different, see different people, have a different environment. But you can't do that for work. You can't. Some people do. Some people have 3 jobs and go, I'm gonna go to my first job and that job's okay, but hey, I'm gonna punch out and I'm gonna go to my other job because I got some cool friends at my other job. The silly things, us as humans, what like makes us sad or happy. But the thing that's becoming very rare, and I'm starting to notice this as I just get older, maybe just because I've been around long enough. I've been around long enough to see all the bullshit and understand why. I totally killed that. I was turning off something. 1 second. It's like a transition. Okay. Maybe that's it. Yeah. I'm looking at background stuff that's kind of fun. I forgot. Oh, this might be too hype. My thing keeps on closing.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I accidentally found this. I'm looking for like something with like a good music in the background. Forgot what this was about. Black Dragon. We started the podcast, and man, you missed a great topic. You might actually have to watch the VOD. Yeah. So I guess you could say the topic was what's in Adam's head, pretty much. And I started explaining like when I wake up and start the day. I'm always thinking, man. To be honest, no joke, I'm always feeling unsafe, and that's such an awkward and sad thing to say. I'm never, at this moment in time, upload them to YouTube. Yeah, I can. In this point in time, even though I can pay my bills, I can eat, can go out to eat, and I can put gas in my car. I got yes, I watched the video, but the video was an educational video, an inspirational video. But it was stuff that I understood already. Yeah, Black Dragon. I didn't even watch the full. I didn't watch the full thing because I was like, I know that already. Yeah. I've watched videos like that before, and sometimes the videos are a little bit like got that God, man, I don't want to even say that word because that's really not true. I wanted to say like that cult vibe. Like it looked like so I know about the law. Well, that's what the video was about, the law of attraction. And it's kind of funny, but I think that's part of the reason why people do come back to the stream. But to me, it's just like common sense. People don't outright like tell you, but it comes natural, and people are not gonna tell you like in the words. The answer is attraction. It just happens, and people get it, but people don't outright put it on paper for you and says this is why I'm here. It's almost like it's like me telling you people are kind even when bad shit goes down. Overall, from to the happiest to the meanest, all humans in overall always want to be kind to each other. Even some of the most dangerous people in the world, everyone has shown kindness. And but it just goes without saying. You're born and you're a baby and you cry and you giggle, and you're not born and then you immediately show anger. You're born with a natural kindness. And you're taught many things as you grow up, and that's what builds character. But attraction, you're born with that. So that's why I watched the video halfway, and it's like, well, that's like a. It's kind of like saying, well, do you know, you're having these feelings because you have eyes. Well, of course you have eyes. You're born with eyes, and. Well, I don't want to get into it, but I did give my time and I watched the video. But videos like that kind of give me like a weird vibe. It's like it gave me like a weird, like cult, religious, like creepy vibe. I'm not joking, man. It did. And that's what made me like not want to watch it anymore. It felt like it was like they're trying to like build a weird kind of like community, like an inner. Yeah, man. But it's a simple YouTube video. You know, there's no harm, but it's just what they said makes lots of sense. But just how the way it was presented, it kind of gave me this like, join our cult. We're telling you the truth. It's, you know, and of course they never say that to you, but that's kind of like what I was feeling. I'm like, oh man, they're preaching the words of perfection, you know. I'm like, no. That shit comes natural, man. I've known that since I was a little kid. I see something on TV, I see a toy, I'm attracted to it. I know. That's common sense. But they were very preachy about it, and it threw me off, you know, weird vibe, and I just wasn't telling me something I already know, and I say, oh, okay, I get it. Let me tone down the music on this one. I like this background. Let me go back to something a little bit more calm. Hold on. The app is acting kind of weird. It's probably because I'm changing it a lot. Let me close it. Oh, there you go. Oh shoot, I got another page. I forgot about that. Oh, this one's like an okay background. Do I have the music down on this one? This one's okay. Yeah. The music is bumping, but it's like my tone of my conversation wasn't matching the music is all. I'm glad you liked it, Demon. I would have to say, I guess this would be the time when I would tell everybody, if anybody wants to bring up a conversation, and then that's how the tips and the subs and the bits will come in, and I'll change the subject to whatever you want with the support. Look, Black Dragon, when before I was even streaming, before 2014, I already had my cousin Robert, which, you know, you guys have seen my cousin Robert. He's the one that, you know, was building the computer on the stream and all that, and played Dungeons and Dragons. And my cousin was already telling me, hey, you need to write about your life. You need to write down these stories. You need to tell people, you know, about all the stuff that you've been through. And along those lines, like, naturally, I just started streaming, and I wanted to gather deep down inside the value of, in my heart, was always to never segregate. I didn't care if you're black, white, Chinese, Caucasian, you know, Jew, Gentile. I just wanted people to kick it, man. Like, not just be nice to each other, but I wanted people to understand, get it, man. Get it, understand everybody's culture, and just be chill with it. You know? I wanted the, the Hindu guy across the street and the Hispanic family across the street to say, hey, come on over, I'm having dinner, but not be so scared about it, or but I wanted to do that in video games. I'm like, well, maybe it'll work on video games, but yet it worked when I was teaching my dance, because the street dancing was all about that. So that's where the name United Styles came from. And you can throw in the comments of like what Bruce Lee would always say. He always said that he really never believed in the concept of styles, because a style is a unified, controlled way of moving, and you only do that style. You don't progress. And that's how we came up with Jeet Kune Do, because it was a melting pot of all different techniques, all the different styles. And it was kind of funny because I looked up to Bruce Lee and I studied, his way of life through movies and books. And, I never researched and really dug deep, but, just of me growing up and observing his life as it was on the silver screen. And then it comes to happen to where I made a team called United Styles. In a sense, coexisting with his logic. Putting a whole bunch of styles together. And what I meant by styles was different religions and different ethnics and different creeds of people. Just to fucking don't worry about what the color skin you have, and don't worry that you don't understand this guy because he speaks Native American and you speak Korean, or I do remember that. Aw, I don't remember that, but yeah, I would have a few hundred viewers all the time. It's you gotta. It's not that I'm saying that you have not paid attention, but it's just that maybe now it's time for me to explain like why things have happened the way they did. In the very beginning of my podcast, I started explaining like what I do like when I wake up. So to sum up that part of the podcast, everything and anything really makes an impact in my life. And when I'm not right and I'm in a learning curve to try to adjust to the things in front of me, I couldn't stream a lot of the times. And I could have streamed. I could have been out there, and people were saying, dude, like your channel is failing because you have a bump in the road, and all of a sudden you just cut the cord. You just stop streaming and you don't make an effort to come back to stream, or you don't let people know what's going on. And in kind of a way, like nobody was really getting it, man. People were thinking, dude, you got to be successful. You got to make money. You got to do this and you got to do that. You know what I wanted to tell these people? A lot of them were my friends, dear friends, and a lot of them were my family. People were thinking about money. I get it, man. I get it. the world revolves around money. So, C.R. Nelson. Let me tell you something about C.R. Nelson. There's something that really affected me emotionally. And C.R. Nelson thinks that this is a long gone thing, but I don't forget. I do forget, but there's some things that put me in a corner and go, fuck. C.R. Nelson was around during those times of Grand Theft Auto when I had hundreds of viewers. And there was this one time, where I would get $1,000 donations, $100 donations and all that. Out of all the times that I got donations, there was one time where I got worried about the donations. C.R. Nelson has to remember this. So C.R. Nelson, I think it doesn't matter like how much it was, but I do believe it was like a $200 donation. And somehow he had set it up to be like an automatic thing. Don't quote me. So I got the donation, and at that time it was like normal. I got donations like that all the time. But then I wasn't streaming or something like that, and I got a donation from C.R. Nelson. And I got confused because it was the exact same amount as the previous donation. And it was, of the same great amount. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, okay. And I was doing my other routine, and I would be transferring my money to, like, how PayPal works, and you move your PayPal money to whatever your bank you do and all that. And I think it happened a third time. I got the same amount of a donation again. And it like either like I was streaming, but yet he wasn't yet in the stream. So it's very odd timings of this like donations. And then he sent me a message. And he's like, hey, can you help me out? I don't know how to cancel the transactions, the donations. And I said, oh my God. Oh my God. So he didn't realize, but the thing was, I don't think he didn't know that the donations were coming in. But you know what though? He didn't even tell me, can you deny? I'm sitting here reading his message. I got a lump in my throat. I'm like, oh my God. that amount of a donation, I know some people who don't even make that for like their whole paycheck. And that donation was like more than that. And 5,000? And not once did C.R. Nelson say, hey, can you give me back that money? And that stayed with me, obviously, until this day. I'm never gonna forget that. And every once in a while, C.R. Nelson would come back to the streams like he is now. you can just like look at my face. Like I'm still like, it still bothers me. And it's like, I know weird things are gonna happen like that again. But yeah, it's almost like I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's just I just want to know that that every time I see Nelson, that's always on my mind. So I always want to know that if he's having a good time on the stream, and I'm glad he's here, and I remember all the good times, and I just wish that donation issue thing never happened, and I helped him cancel one of the donation things. Even it was kind of like a learning curve for myself too, because it never happened before. People have been asking me that. So the story behind the streamer tax, you can blame it on Washido, and I think maybe Jedi. They got on my case. They were playfully getting mad at me. And they said, USC, we got all of these points that we earned. We got all of these points in your chat, and we can't use them for anything. Can you make something up? Just anything. And then Washido said something like, just say something like eating underwear. He said something like so like dirty, sexually dirty or something like that. And he goes, anything. I'm like, damn, dude. I'm like, I stopped the stream and I freaking made something up. And I said, I go, you know what, man? If you want to flex, you just want to spend your points, like, fine. Pay streamer tax. That's your way of having clout, flexing. You got this much points, and you just pay these taxes just for fun. Fuck it. So that's what that is. It doesn't mean anything. But since you guys been wanting this podcasting thing, maybe I should make the points. Maybe I should make it to where if you spend the points, you can change the subject. You can say, hey, I spend 5,000 points. I want to talk about marbles. I want to talk about hot dogs. Who knows what you guys want to talk about? I could probably I could probably tell you a story sometime to help you put it out, perspective. Okay. Well, Nelson, if you want to come into the Discord and talk and tell a story. I'm not sure which story, but you can. Am I in? I am in Discord, right? Yeah, I'm in Discord. A lot of you guys know how to do the Discord thing. Yeah. I'll tell stories of life. Yeah, you can. All right. Maybe he'll come in. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think Sierra Nelson might jump into the Discord and share a story. I met Sierra Nelson on Grand Theft Auto online, and dude, we were a team, man. This was when I had Washido playing with us. I even had one of the original United Styles crew members, Brensis, and we would do all kinds of crazy stunts, man. We try to rekindle the stunt moments. But yeah, it was, man. United Styles Crew, when it came to oh, you did? We United Styles Crew in the gaming community, United Styles Crew started on Grand Theft Auto. That's the roots. United Styles Crew in IRL started as a breakdancing team. That's where the name came from, and that team retired. And then once I went to Twitch, I just transferred the name from breakdancing team to a gaming team. And then we would take over the NRG 900s, which was a name of a bike in the game, and we would have like a bike crew. But then we changed it to cars and whatnot. Uh-oh.
Black Dragon 743 Chiridex 1.
Uh-oh. Does Black Dragon have a topic? If you support the stream in any way for bits, subscribing and donations, you have the cool privilege to pick a topic of your choice, and we can talk about it. I don't know what I can't imagine what Black Dragon would want to talk about, but Black Dragon is a very intellectual person, and so it could be pretty interesting. In your Discord now? Okay. There we go, boys. CR Nelson. Nice.
Black Dragon 743 Chiridex 100.
Could help put the whole thing into perspective.
Yeah.
So, back when I was in, what do you call it, elementary school?
Mm-hmm.
I was like a kid. I don't remember how old I was. I was maybe 9 or 10 or something like that. And
yeah.
My family really wasn't well off, you know. I grew up in a poor neighborhood and everything like that.
Yeah.
And this one Christmas, my parents, they got me this big ass stereo, you know, the kind that's got external speakers, and you know, it's a rack against the wall with cassette decks and
right.
Equalizers and you know, record players and all kinds of shit like that.
Right.
And that was like the greatest Christmas present ever.
A big, huge stereo system.
Yeah, and because I love music, you know.
Right.
Back when I was 8, we had this kind of you know, hit list thing in music lessons.
Yeah.
You know, people brought their own music that they
Mm-hmm.
recorded off the radio and shit. And
right.
Yeah, I got some real revelations there, and that got me off the kiddie songs, and I began exploring the world of music at a really young age.
Right.
So getting that stereo, it was groundbreaking. It was a new milestone.
Okay.
But you know, I wasn't from a rich family, and my parents, they had rented that stereo. So when they couldn't keep up with the monthly payments, they had to return it. And yeah, the stereo that was a gift to me,
yeah,
it got taken away.
I didn't know you could do that. Okay.
And you know, back in the days, you could rent TVs, you could rent.
Oh,
shit, you know?
That's right. My grandfather, when VHS, when Betamax and VHS came out, my grandfather, all his girls, they're all my aunts. They were crying because they wanted to watch a movie. And I do remember them telling me a story that my grandfather rented the machine. And they loved the movie so much that he said, "Oh, the hell with it. I'm just going to buy it." Did you when you were gaming with us, you never told stories like that. You never.
Well, there really isn't much time for stories when you're in a
When you're-
high-paced environment.
Right, dude. First of all, Sierra Nelson, dude, it is so nice to talk to you again. It's been years. Yeah.
I've actually passed 7 years being on Twitch now. And Black Dragon, no, I'm not a musician, but I used to host music festivals actually.
What? This is.
Yeah, I was very engaged in the local music environment. So I had one of my idols around the city. He started up a music festival, and I was a real big fan of music festivals. So me and a couple of friends, we really got into that. So we said, "Hey, what the hell? We'll make
Right.
our own music festival." We went around to the other high schools and shit, and we tried to recruit different local bands. And
What?
we got one of them signed up, and it was like, okay, you're not getting money for this.
Yeah.
You're just showing up here to party with us, and yeah,
Dude.
maybe we'll get a lower price for beer or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we just had a big ass party in a private
Wow.
location with local bands and hundreds of people showing up, and
Dude,
awesome. And we kept that going for a few years. And,
I'm over here trying to do it on a video game, but you're doing this vibe of like United Styles Crew in real life. You're getting people together. But overall, man, that's how we are as humans, man. We just want to kick it, man. We just want to chill and be in a safe environment.
the step between a simulated environment like gaming and
Yeah.
or like a streaming platform and real life is only really a matter of application.
Yeah.
Manifest your intentions.
Oh man, intentions.
And yeah, of course, I did those things, and I couldn't afford that shit. I meant I would arrange these festivals. I would
Yeah.
be broke for 6 months afterwards. I couldn't eat like fucking noodles and drink tea and shit.
Oh man, the
But
tea.
it was so worth it because it was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I got some Indian black tea today. I've been doing the sparkling water and tea for like a month now, and dude, my body is like saying thank you. I got off the sodas and the energy drinks, and my body's like my skin is like, dude, like, here you go, buddy, man. What do you think about this? And like every time I look in the mirror, man, I'm like super happy on my complexion and all that. But that's just me. Some people can drink sodas all day long and they look fantastic. But
Yeah, no matter what I drink, I'll still look like shit. But seriously, I can't, I can have some sodas, but if I get too much of that, if I get too much sparkly stuff, I just get a sour stomach.
Oh yeah, I've been doing the gin and tonic. Somebody ordered me a gin and it was a conversation with my cousin Chava. We're out and about.
Hello.
What is
Would
this?
you like to have a roll in the hay?
Black Dragon 743 cheer Dex 1 do it. It's fun. Have
Well,
you guys watched The
living in a
Matrix?
simulation
If so, what do you
just,
think about the fact that we live in a
it's just an
simulation?
environment that you kind of have to adapt to, and you have to figure out the rules and how to live by them.
But Black Dragon is asking us if we watch The Matrix, and do you know we live in a simulation?
Well, hell yeah! I watched The Matrix. Back then, it was one of my favorite movies of all time.
Well,
And well,
that
number one. I thought that was the movie. That was the movie, The Matrix. The sequels, they didn't have that impact because, when The Matrix One came out, it had that big twist that
Yeah,
nobody
yeah.
foresaw, and you just got blown away. Mind blown. You
But
remember
look,
that old GIF you used to have on your stream? Mind blown.
but CR, the movie did something. The movie created a movement. It created. It caused people to start buying DVDs, the DVD players. People were just like right now, a great video game comes out. There are people that buy a whole entire brand new console just to play one game. The Matrix was the first one to do that.
I'm actually a console collector. I have a lot of the different games consoles released since since the 80s, basically.
Hmm.
But I have most of the Nintendos, most of the Segas, most of the
Yeah,
Sonys, everything like that. And
yeah.
for me, it has always been the thing with consoles that there used to be one specific game that would sell a console, but in the latest generations of game consoles,
Right.
that just really isn't a thing because the same games get released basically for all formats. So, back
Except when Genesis was out.
yeah, but back when Xbox came, it was
Yeah.
like, okay, Halo, that was a big console. Sell.
Yeah, Halo 3.
You had to say earlier before that, you had
Right.
with different Nintendos. You had Mario games and you had Sonic games for the Segas and stuff. And
Dude,
there was always something that pulled people to a certain console.
right. Okay. So Black Dragon is actually admitting that he does see the complexion in my skin had changed, but he didn't say it was good or bad. But, I have a few. One of the things that I'm happy about is that I actually have one of the, what did they call the old televisions with the big tube?
CRT television.
Yes, I have a CRT television behind the green screen. It's so heavy, man. It's really hard to lug around. I wanna get. People say the best TV to get, it's a Sony, but it's the Sony TVs that they used for security cameras. They're really small and compact, and they said that those are one of the hardest to find and one of the best kind to find. That's just word of mouth from Googling.
CRT TVs. That sounds like story time again.
Oh boy, I only have one, man, and I'm no specialist when it comes to tubes, but there was a couple games that kind of gave you the vibe of you playing the game on a tubed TV. They would make the game kind of curved on the outsides to make it look like your TV was a tube. But there is a video game collection, like retro store around here, and they were selling not the Jaguar. It wasn't called the Jaguars, but the one console that sold the games that looked like VHS tapes. They had the quality of like an arcade game. I forgot what that console was called.
Well, you had like the what was it called? The Dreamcast.
Okay,
The Dreamcast was the last Sega that got released. It got released a couple of years before the
Yeah.
Xbox and the PS3, and it really excelled in graphical quality and stuff. And
Yeah.
it was also the first console that had a built-in modem, so you could plug like
Well, yeah. I have a Sega. I have a Dreamcast.
yeah. As for the Dreamcast, you had games like Soul Calibur.
Yeah. Right.
And that game was basically
Black Dragon
just as nice
743
quality
cheer Dex
as,
1.
as,
Y'all
the
didn't go in
arcades,
depth about the
and it's
simulation
still the
thing by
best Soul
both
Calibur
them.
game out there just because.
is CR. I have to jump in. The one thing that's quite interesting about doing this podcast is that this is not on YouTube. So on Twitch, the chat is definitely more active. And Black Dragon is chiming in with the bits. And we actually did cut the simulator conversation with the Matrix.
Let's go back to the so what I said earlier about the simulator thing was okay. When you are in a simulated environment,
Right.
like a computer game,
Okay.
you kind of adapt to the rules of the computer game.
Yeah.
You learn how to exploit the different
Right.
things to win forth,
Mm-hmm.
and there it comes back to the kind of application of what you can do there as well. So you kind of have to learn the rules of a computer game, and going back to real life, you kind of have to learn the rules of real life in the same way. So if real life is a simulation, to win the game, you just have to learn the rules.
Right.
And of course, you know that there are rules. They are all around us. And you see how they are imposed on everybody. And you.
But the simulator, the video game simulator, the weather, the environment is kind of static at most times. But in real life, you could step out of the house and an owl can come swooping down and freaking do like a massive head attack and give you a trauma, or you could step out and just have the utmost bad luck and get struck by lightning. The algorithms in real life are crazy.
Yeah,
Black
but,
Dragon
there's
743 cheer
there's
Dex
lots of
1.
simulated
Stop
stuff
it,
in
criminal
real
center
life that
driving
you
at
have
him
to
nuts,
do,
lol.
like money. Money is just an abstract quality that we have adapted to kind of adapt to the rules of this simulation. Back in the days, money was by gold standards. Now money is just paper that's worth nothing except for the fact that we believe in it.
It's CR, man. Oh my gosh, it's okay. Well, let's think about this money thing. Okay, so in order to get this currency,
How is currency made? How is it created?
Well, I mean, it's it's at a printing establishment, and
Can they print unlimited?
yes,
Or why?
because if you live so there.
Okay, let's just skip back in history.
Yeah.
Who were basically the people who could issue currency?
Right. Well, see, how it went was there was a government that printed money, that started the towns and the cities and the nations. And in this particular place, I'll talk about my country. So you had the government that printed money and created a stock market and a way for it to flow, an even flow. Well, there was a big family that owned banks, and they were wealthy, and the government went belly up. They went bankrupt. So, but there was these two powers that had money. You had the government that had power, and you had a particular amount of families that had money. And the families, like the Rockefellers and all the famous American rich families, came in and bailed out the government. So it's kind of weird to ask, like, where the money comes from.
Cheer, Dex 1. How did we go from simulation to currency in 1
It's the
minute?
truth
Lol.
with a few modifications, though.
It's
those powerful families these days, they have the sole authority to print your country's money.
yeah,
That wasn't before the First World War. The U.S. printed its own currency.
yes,
And you had I don't know who was the president around that time. But it was around 1918 or
Yeah.
something, and then they snuck in that they could have a private bank take over the responsibility for
okay,
printing the U.S. currency.
Yes.
And thus the Federal Reserve was born.
okay,
And after that,
yes,
Federal Reserve had the sole authority of printing U.S. currency. It was
Right.
No longer in the U.S.
But the thing that's really tough is that you and I are riding on the same wavelength about this whole simulator conversation, and Black Dragon got confused on why we're talking about money and how it code.
Let me put it in a gaming perspective for him then.
Yeah. Okay.
So in most games, you have a virtual economies, right, Black Dragon?
Would you like to have a roll in the
So
hay?
Black Dragon
all that value
743
comes
cheer,
from
Dex
somewhere,
1 do it.
you know.
It's fun. Do you guys think
Certain items are
cryptocurrencies
worth
are the future?
certain amount of money, and if you have a big complex economic structure, people make things, and those things will sell for a certain value, and people make money out of those things, and it kind of creates value, and that creates money.
Right.
Back in the days, we used to have a gold-backed currency. That meant that if you had this paper that we call a note,
Yes.
this is worth so much.
Yeah.
Go to the bank and you could ask that I want to give this paper and I want to receive this amount of gold that paper is
Right.
worth. No longer, because money isn't backed by gold anymore. It's backed by debt.
Yeah.
When somebody takes out a loan, that creates assets for the bank, which they can use to create
Yeah.
more money.
So-
So basically, depending on how much people owe them, they can create more money.
Yeah.
And that's what creates the modern economy. It's called fiat currency, and
Dude.
it's money backed on nothing but debt.
Okay, two things that I want to tell you, CR. First of all, dude, what an amazing gift this is that I'm experiencing with you. This is, dude, I'm literally grinning from ear to ear, just enjoying my conversation with you. Second of all, it's not a favor, but it's just I'm learning, because this is my first time doing the podcast. Black Dragon is so immersed in his topics choices as he donates bits that I'm enjoying what the questions he's asking, but then I'm asking myself, is CR, I know you're in Discord and you can't have the stream on because you hear your voice and it'll be like a double, like an echo.
I've muted your stream so I can see your face.
Exactly. But the thing is, I'm absorbing all the beauty of what's happening right now, but you're missing out on the great questions that Black Dragon is providing in the chat. So
I'm looking at chat. I'm looking at chat.
So what he's doing is he'll donate 1 bit, and that's all I ask. Is that if you want to ask questions or change the subject, you support the stream. And he'll ask fun questions, and I'm learning as we go.
Oh shit! I missed that question.
Yeah.
Do you guys think cryptocurrencies are the future?
Right.
I hope so.
Oh man, Black Dragon is freaking awesome.
But man, I fucking hope so. But you know, there are. I don't know. Is it even possible? Because the people who own the money have so much power already.
Right. I'm. Can you believe this? I'm even getting Instagram questions. This is. I didn't think the podcast would go this smoothly. I didn't think I was gonna have a guest, but not only guest, but a long time dear friend, an old school friend from back when I was starting. Now I'm getting questions in the chat like I thought it was going to be really hard to get, and then I'm getting questions on Instagram. All right.
I'm not watching your Instagram. So.
Well, I'm just. I've had Instagram for a long time, but I would have to say in the last couple weeks I just started using it, and I'm not sure like what's the proper etiquette on how to use Instagram. Do I talk to people like on Twitter, or do people like to communicate with pictures, videos? I'm still learning.
Yeah, every social platform has its form and.
Yeah. In other words, I don't want to be a dork about it, you know.
Yeah. You kind of have to just adapt to the purpose of how people are using the different social platforms and
right.
what they're worth. Like,
right.
You don't really want to have a public conversation on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, you definitely gotta hit me up on the other social medias. Social media is very. It is.
Black Dragon 743 cheer Dex 1.
It is.
Social media is very
I'm
addicting,
really
so beware.
active on different social media. I think it's kind of important to keep up on on the development of communications.
Yeah, but it's I get so personal. Sometimes I want to be so personal. Like right now, a lot of people have dreamed of me doing IRL streams. They want to know, what does USC do when he walks out and about, because I tell these stories. And they're like going, dude, like, it's like, well, why don't you just take us with you? Take the stream. And of course, you know, I always play like an idiot, and I'm like, oh, I can't. I don't have an iPhone. I don't have the equipment to do it. So I chicken out. Honestly, I'm telling the truth here. I'm laying it on the line.
Well, to be quite frank with you there, it's really what you would be comfortable with. If you go out there and do IRL stream, it's like, are you comfortable walking around on the street talking to yourself while looking at a phone?
Yeah.
Or is that less comfortable than sitting at home and kind of just looking into a camera? You don't have to worry about all the people.
Yeah.
For me, you know, an IRL stream is just kind of, I don't like crowds, so it get too much attention from bypassers. I wouldn't be comfortable with something like that.
Right. The thing that I always find tough with IRLs is the quality of the mic quality. Sometimes the environment, the crowd around you, if you're at a bar, it's too loud, and you can barely hear the amazing conversations that are happening at the dinner table or whatever. Not only that, but I would love to have lapel mics, have everybody that's around me have their own lapel mic, so you can hear everybody like clearly. But then you have to worry about like,
you could have a guy walking around with a big fucking boom mic and just
hey, dude, if I had the money, I would easily have that. pay somebody, I have somebody on payroll to do that. That would be fucking amazing.
But yes, social media is very addicting.
Yeah. Yeah. But that would be so cool, man. If my social media was very active, I would love to say, well, boys, I'm gonna go get me a tea. What do you think I should get? Because I don't know everything. I'm just learning teas, but yet I bet you a lot of my viewers go, well, yesterday they were telling me about boba. And I think I might have had it, but dude, every day when I'm asking about stuff, dude, the viewers that I have, they're going, "Oh, I didn't know you like that. Hey, try this, blah blah blah, try that."
Black Dragon 743 cheer Dex 1. You should upload a full video version of the podcast and then put it in short clips on certain topics.
Yeah, I might as well do that. Boy, Black Dragon is just one.
Does that mean I'm gonna be on the internet, Mom?
15 minutes of fame is what they call it. What was the name of that artist that he did the Campbell soup cans? He had white hair and always dressed in black.
I know who it is.
Yeah, he's the one that coined the phrase 15. Everybody will eventually have 15 minutes of fame. Dude. So, let me ask an interesting question. So, what is C.R. Nelson doing these days?
Andy Warhol.
Andy Warhol is his name. Yes.
Oh yeah, what I'm doing these days? Well, let me tell you.
Oh shoot, he's lighting up a cigarette. I can tell.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm always focused.
We could do the hey, what have you done since last time, or what are you doing right now?
All right, Black Dragon. So you're bouncing the question to me. You want me to answer that question?
No, it's like okay. Do you want the current situation or since the last time situation?
I think maybe I'm asking a question that you feel that is deserving, that best interests you to share with the stream, in a sense.
Okay. Well, I'm a bit old for breakdancing now, but I got back into skateboarding.
What? What? And the new the Tony Hawk game came out.
Yeah, and before that, Skater XL came out, which is even more hardcore. And,
Dude.
Yeah, I've been spending a lot of time doing custom deck designs and making custom artwork for mods for the first game, Skater XL.
Yeah.
And, I've been meaning to stream it, but
Yeah.
that streaming button is so hard for me. I've done it twice in the last year.
Okay. Nice, man. Okay, Black Dragon is helping me to lower down my volume and to okay.
Mine, which is just
No, yours is fine. I just gotta lower my mic. My mic is probably booming on the stream because I'm using a soundboard and it's got filters on it. So, see, if I had an actual studio, I could just fly you in, dude. If I was freaking like a Joe Rogan, I'd be no. Put his higher. All right, I'll put mine back. And
Joe Rogan, this podcast would have been my 15 minutes of fame for sure.
All right, I put CR at 150%. Let me know how it is. I'll ask.
Checking 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, all right. Yes, yeah. Well, C.R. Nelson's voice, he's definitely has a lower tone, but it still has bass. It still has bass.
I spend a lot of time doing RP, and when I did RP, I did a lot of voice acting, so I gravitated towards a character that was a bit older, and he had more of a gravelly, bassy voice, and that kind of rubbed off
Right.
on me in real life as well. So
Okay.
yeah, that's kind of stuck with me since then. So it's an occupational hazard of a role player.
Got you. Dude, Black Dragon is on point, man. He's helping me adjust the volume. Dude, you talk about some great mods. Dude, I'm like getting very spoiled with everybody helping me out here. It is so important to make sure everybody's understanding everybody when it comes to a podcast. Like everybody's, because you could say something for just a split second, and it could be one of the most impactful conversations, like in a whole 10-minute video.
Yeah, like with a big podcast, you would have the luxury of a sound technician on set to
Exactly.
adjust it for you.
But yeah, like
rely on people like Black Dragon who
that's
adjust it for you.
That's a question that if I was talking to Joe Rogan, that would be a question I would ask. I know it. Let me explain. I'm doing this podcast, and I already had booked C.R. Nelson to come to the podcast. So I would ask Joe, how okay, you book an interview, you book a guest, C.R. Nelson. Do you pay for his flight to come to the podcast? Like, how does that work? Do you call him and say, hey, I would like for you to come as a guest? Do you like, how does he politely go about saying, how are you going to get here? You know, do the guests...
Well, what I would do was kind of ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're getting in podcasting, just kind of reach out to other podcasters and see how they do things.
Right. Okay.
I mean, you can just ask. Worst thing that happens is you don't get a response.
Yeah. I'm going to click on this YouTube link. Black Dragon wants me to play a particular type of music in the background. But you got to always remember, Black Dragon, is that if you want me to post it on YouTube, it's got to be music that's safe to play.
I don't think this will breach any DMCA.
Okay, let me look. Let me put the volume off on the desktop background. It's a campfire. Got you.
Man, I miss campfires. Used to do that all the time during summer, but now during COVID, not a single damn campfire all summer.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But I would still want the music. Oh, I know what to do. Hold on. I think I know. I'm going to try a little trick. Did I lower the... Oh, hold on. Okay. Dude, okay, if I make it full screen, okay. Okay. I think I got something worked out. Let's see, just okay. Jedi is on my Minecraft server right now, and he's saying he just died from a creeper. There's this everybody wanted me to change games, and I totally understand it. The Trove game was just like a personal pleasure of mine, an easy MMO game to play. But it was dragging on, and I wasn't getting any viewers. And plus, the community was not a community of gamers that are willing to throw money at a streamer.
There you go, man. I gave you a Twitter shout out.
Oh, it hasn't dinged on me, but yeah, everybody said screw it, dude, man. All right, Black Dragon, dude, you helped tremendously. Black Dragon helped out tremendously today.
It's been awesome.
Yeah, Black Dragon's been with me for a long time, and here's Akari. Man, all the boys are coming in today. And then Ava jumped in real quick.
Boys are back in town. Boys are back in town.
Oh man, what a great way, man! What a great way for it to be my first stream. But you know what's very interesting? When Joe Rogan made his move to Texas, and he decided to invite the very first guest that he ever had on his podcast on, and his guest was amazing. I think it was like the mayor of Texas or something like that, and it was just out of coincidence that he moved to Texas. So the guest had made an observation about their topic, and he said, you know what, eventually there's going to be another Joe Rogan. And I'm sitting here getting ready to stream, and I'm deciding where I'm going to go get breakfast and what kind of tea I'm going to order. And I'm listening to his podcast because I wanted to get into the feel of my podcast that's coming up.
Did you see the Joe Rogan podcast I think it was last week or something? He had Mike Tyson on.
I think that was before he moved, because his room looks that was like 4 weeks ago, and his next podcast he's in a completely different like room. So he probably had Mike Tyson on like the very last podcast in his old location. But I seen his first podcast with Mike Tyson. But since we're on the conversation of Mike Tyson has a podcast. And let me tell you something.
He also has a fight.
Yes.
This November.
Yes.
On pay-per-view.
Yes. We are very blessed to still have Mike Tyson. Let me tell you something, man. There was this podcast that Mike Tyson had with Sugar Ray Leonard. And it was the very first podcast that I clicked on to watch. And of course, we all know Mike Tyson is literally a beast, a monster. It just a destroyer of people in the ring. But the way he opened up on that particular podcast, he was crying to Sugar Ray Leonard like a little baby. It was almost like, okay, this is what he was saying to everyone there in the room. What's that, Hakari? I wonder if these people that got banned are allowed to use streaming platforms to gain more. Oh, you mean like multiple? Like to piggyback on multiple streams? I don't know. I don't know what the TOS is on, like all that kind of stuff, but so
I know that the TOS on Twitch is that if you're
partnered
affiliate or better, you cannot share the same for 24 hours. So
exactly.
After you have streamed something on Twitch, you have to wait 24 hours.
So technically, if Black Dragon gets his wish, I would have to wait till this broadcast is 24 hours old, and then I could post it on YouTube. But going back to Mike Tyson starts to explain, and you can see it in his bottom lip. He's quivering. He's utterly terrified to share this information. But he fights it, and then he starts to mumble as he's talking. And he's at a gaze. He's talking to Sugar Ray, but he's like just talking just out in the open in a sense. He's lost in translation of what he's about to explain. In other words, he's just going to like open up. Just his soul is finally has an opportunity to talk. And as he talks, he starts saying, the whole world knew me as this monster, this unbeatable demon. Like, I'm making up words here as I go, but I'm trying to express what he was trying to get at. Everyone knew him as this unbeatable piece of steel, a beast, a demon of sorts, and they didn't know him as anything else. And he would see great people among him. He would look at Sugar Ray and study his boxings. Mike Tyson would study all boxers. It didn't matter if they were good boxers, bad boxers. He loved boxing. It was like a romantic dance to him. He loved the art of war. And he studied it. If you were boxing, he would just study you because you were boxing. And he was in love with it. But when he boxed, he was the creme de la creme, the best. Every punch he did, every step he did, it was a rhythm dance. But every time he did it, it was a form of destruction. He was so madly in love with the sport, but every time he touched somebody, he would like almost kill him. And he was afraid to express his love and passion to other boxers like Sugar Ray. And he so badly, for years and years and years, wanted to tell Sugar Ray, I look up to you. You're the best. You're the best boxer I've ever seen in my life. But he couldn't. Because he was the king of the hill. He was the best of the best. And the best of the best is not going to tell somebody any kind of form of love and compassion and admiration. You're the king. You know, you're not going to give anybody else anyways. So he had all this built up inside of him. And when he said that in his podcast, he just broke down and started crying like a baby. Sugar Ray Leonard was stunned. His composure on the chair at the podcast was just, Sugar Ray Leonard just couldn't stop looking at Tyson, just like, to look at Mike Tyson crying like that, it was just like what? Like, this person had a soul? He had feelings? Dude, it was crazy. I've attempted to try to watch the podcast again, but to see that somebody go through that emotions, it was so impactful that I always hesitate to watch the podcast again, because it's to see somebody go through or experience that pain of knowing that they can't even say the word love or appreciate. It was like freaking, it just hurted you to see that he held that pain for so long. But to see him now, to see Mike Tyson now is like, dude, he's alive, he's happy, he's smiling, he's hugging people and just happy with life. But yeah.
The podcast I watched with him, and especially one on Joe Rogan, he's real, and he's dropping nuggets left and right. He's like,
right, yeah.
What did he say? I don't remember. Something like, Delusion is only delusional when you don't accomplish the goals of making your delusions a reality.
Yeah.
Impossible is nothing to somebody who tries. It's like, man.
Dude, Mike Tyson researched, man. When he said that he studied people, he was almost like he studied the art like he was a surgeon.
I mean, before going into these podcasts, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
he's you know, people who are people who have gotten hit in the head too much, are kind of like
Right.
slow, you know, like old Muhammad Ali. was
Muhammad,
kind of
yeah.
slow. But then you kind of listen to Mike Tyson, and you know, he talks profoundly,
Yeah.
and he drops truth bombs, like you're sitting there and
Yeah.
you just listen to what he says, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, I watched the podcast when Tyson had Justin Bieber, and it was so funny. I chuckled so many times because they were both awestruck with each other. No, it wasn't Justin Bieber. It was Eminem. I apologize. So Eminem had invited Tyson, even though it was Tyson's podcast. Eminem had said, come to the trailer. He had this really decked out, nice trailer. And they had to tell each other, like little kids, like, oh my God, dude, I'm talking to you. You're Mike Tyson.
It's two goats in the same room, you know?
Yes, and Tyson was giggling like a little kid. He goes, dude, you're Eminem. I could touch you. Like you're here. Dude, it was so cool to see two icons like just be human and not have to boast, not have to flex, not have to show their strengths. They were like, oh dude, man, Eminem, he's just like you and me, man. I've had plenty of conversations like that with my buddies. Eminem's just like me. Tyson, man, dude, crack open a beer and have a nice cold brew. Just like my buddies. Tyson is just like any one of us. You know, we think of them as like gods, superhuman beings, and they only talk about cool stuff. I mean, they talk about...
Put us back to the simulation hypothesis again.
Yeah. Shoot. Yeah. Exactly. But Black Dragon wanted us to have this fireplace thing. If I had a real fireplace here, I know you haven't seen the post, but I had made this decision about, you know, I finally had some money saved up to start really upgrading my streaming equipment. I don't have proper computer monitors. I don't have a proper boom stand for my mic, and of course my computer is like 7 years old. So I was telling everybody like, hey, okay, I got like about like 1,200 saved up, and I'm gonna start upgrading some equipment. And one of the dream equipments that I posted on social media, I said, I finally did it, boys. I want to upgrade my chair. But I just didn't want any normal chair. With no hesitation, I told myself, I want a badass old school barber chair for my streaming chair. And sure enough, I found myself a gorgeous barber chair. It's not old, it's modern, but it looks like an old classic. I looked at the price and I said, okay, I get it. It's fucking expensive. But boy, oh boy. if I get it, I'm gonna be like, fuck yeah, dude. It's just a stupid chair, but it's a barber chair. And then I said to myself, okay, I do the podcast, and I can freaking call up a barber of my choice and say, hey, $100. At this time, I'll be successful. Call up a barber and says, hey, I know
This time I'll be live on stream. Come and shave me.
Yes. And a couple old friends of mine said, dude, you can get your hair cut on stream. And I'm like, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. And usually, because I've been thinking about getting proper haircuts, because I've been cutting my own hair for too many years. And people say, hey, you got a cool haircut. And I'm like, no, I don't. Stop. I want to get a nice, fresh haircut. I want to look proper. You usually pay, on an average haircut, $35. Lately, I've been asking around. It's about $35, and then plus tip, $10. Some people just say screw it and just give the barber $50. And I'm like, dang. For a high and tight, military haircut style, whew, every 2 to 3 weeks, is it? All right. But if I had a barber chair at the studio, at the streaming apartment, I could say, you know what? I'm doing pretty good. Call them up. $100. Come on over.
I shared my setup in your general.
Man.
If you want to check it out.
You shared your what?
I shared a picture of my setup in your Discord.
Ooh.
General chat.
Okay. Okay. You want me to share it on stream?
Why not?
Right. Okay. All right. Let's do this, boys. Okay. Here. You have a proper desk. I have a folding picnic table.
Well, you see that little table behind it?
Okay, hold on a minute.
If you look to the right there, it's kind of blended out by the sunlight. You see that low table there? It's only about maybe 3 feet tall or something.
Yes.
Not even that. That's what I used to stream from for years. I sat in a couch,
Yeah.
streamed on that one. I was kind of leant back maybe a yard from the screen.
Uh-huh.
And that was the table I used for years. And then I got that table, which was a proper table. And
But look at the but CR. There's a big important question in the chat.
Yes, I have been practicing Japanese sword fighting since 99, I think. So for 21 years, I've been practicing Japanese sword fighting.
Okay.
Those are also classic. Those are also bows up there that are made. One of them is made by me, and some others are made by some people that I know. But I also do medieval art.
CR Nelson is amazing. CR, you're fucking amazing. Do you know that? You're getting back into your skateboarding. You're designing the art. You study the katana. You got your streaming set. To me, right now, on the front cover of this book that you're sharing with us in Spanish, let me explain. We would say in Spanish, "Tú eres chingón." Okay, that means you're fucking badass. Dude, you're gonna make a grown.
Yeah. I can only be myself.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because I saw a video today about it's a YouTube channel that I highly respect, and they teach you how to be a gentleman and how to dress for certain occasions. You know, a very gentleman like YouTube channel, and they have
It's important to be a gentleman.
okay, but one of their latest videos that I had not watched today yet, they said on their title, it's not always wise to tell somebody to be yourself. And I think I have an understanding on what they're getting at. There's a certain, like, there's a time and place when you can be yourself. And I think that's what the video is about.
Well, I have a Mike Tyson quote there as well. I don't remember it exactly, but Mike Tyson said that if you knew who you are, you wouldn't accomplish anything. Because life is a long search for finding yourself. So,
Yes.
What
Yes.
happens along the way and during that search is what creates
Yeah.
you.
Like, okay. So writing on that knowledge, the scientists kind of have a similar quote where they say, and I don't know it verbatim, but they'll say the more you know, the more you find out the something about like the more you learn, the more you find out, the less that you know, or something like that.
Yeah, it's I've heard that one. It's like the border of human knowledge is like a big sphere.
Yeah.
And the surface of a sphere just grows as the sphere keeps growing.
Yeah.
So, when the sphere is very little, you only have a little surface outside that
Yeah.
square, so you don't have many questions. But the bigger that square of knowledge, and did I say square? That
Yeah.
sphere of knowledge.
It's kind of like the logic of the
yeah.
expanding cosmos.
Yeah. So the bigger that sphere of knowledge gets, the more surface area it has, and the more questions is outside it. And it's the most intelligent people are the ones that don't really know much, and the most stupid people are the people who are very sure of themselves and know that they're right.
Yes. Yes. I remember Neil deGrasse Tyson making a comment like that. Something about it being fascinating to talk to like a person that's like a psycho or someone that is crazy or something. He was trying to explain those people are focused. They know exactly. They have a train of thought and they're dead on that. For me, I'm all over the place. I'm asking questions 24/7 all the time. But for a crazy person, they know exactly what's going on.
Well, there's all kinds of crazy, but
Yeah.
but for people
Yeah.
people who are limited in their who are limited in having expanded their intellectual potential,
Yeah.
there's not much doubt in their minds.
Man. But going back to the katanas, did you splurge and buy the game? Did you dabble in buying the game of like Ghost of Tsushima or something like that?
Oh fuck yeah!
Oh,
I had to dig up my PS4. It hadn't been turned on in
Yeah.
2 years or something, and it was
So
in a box somewhere behind some other
Okay.
boxes, and then I fired up Ghost of Tsushima, and I just it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful game.
So since you study katanas, how did the game developers was the game worthy of your knowledge that coexists with the combat?
Kendo and Yaido aren't self-defense arts. They're,
Okay.
They're combat arts. It's what was that quote? Let me just find that quote. Give me a
Sure.
half a minute here.
Yeah. Oh, Jedi, but Jedi, did you play the game? Okay. Freaking Jedi. Okay. So if Jedi, you beat the game, so I'm saying I'm gonna take a wild guess. You beat the game in 3 days. Oh, 2 days. Okay, I read the chat too late. Okay, so you probably must have played it over the weekend, all day. Slept, woke up, played it again. And when you say beat the game, Jedi, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, the gamer rule is real gamers don't sleep or something. I get it, Jedi.
Real gamers don't sleep, but sometimes their screensaver gets put on.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, this podcast.
But yeah, the quote from Rurouni Kenshin.
Okay, tell me.
A sword is a weapon.
Yes.
Kenjutsu is the art of killing. Whatever pretty words you use to speak of it, this is its true nature. And that's the thing with training Japanese sword arts. It has no practical application.
Right.
It's you're moving around a 3-foot razor, and there's no real application for that. Except if, like me, you're a person who does historical reenactment, who kind of fights with swords against other people. So.
We during your conversation of the quote, we had a new chat. CR, how would you enunciate that that new person in chat? I'm saying gamouse, gamoose, gumuous. Sometimes for fun, I'll put it in.
I mean, the latter syllable there looks like the end of continuous.
Oh yes.
Thinking gumuous.
I love it when I love it when I've been streaming for a while and the viewer count has been like the same for a long time, and then all of a sudden I'll see someone new talk, and to me that's saying that the 90% it's probably somebody that was lurking, listening, enjoying the conversation or enjoying the gameplay, and I finally got them to the point where they desire to make a comment. And to me, that's like a fucking, like, hell yeah, dude. You know, I always forget that for most of us here that are on Twitch, a lot of us are power users, and some people get on Twitch and are very hesitant to talk in the chat. It's a huge decision to make, especially when it's just when there's hundreds of people in the chat. It's very easy to do the LOLs and oh my god, I just saw, it's easy to get your comment lost in the chat because it's moving so fast.
And it's also easy to scare off people. I mean, you always got to the lurkers. If somebody just comes in and
Right.
just wants to sit and watch,
Yeah.
never call them out unless they speak up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the podcast has been doing okay. I usually troll Hawk, but I've been very kind to Hawk today. Hawk has been following me for like over 5 years, but Hawk doesn't talk much. He just gambles in my chat, and I pick on him for it, and he has so much fun because that's all he does in the chat. But lately he's been making my other viewers gamble all their points away. I kind of think he's probably one of the best gamblers in the chat. But yesterday my cousin had really jumped on my case about the points. He's totally confused about the Twitch and how Twitch uses points, and there's a point system. He's like, dude, how many different kinds of points are there? There's points, there's bits, there's subbing, there's following. Wow, it's been that. I thought it's been more. I thought it was like 7 years.
I've only been on Twitch for 7 years. And
Yeah,
I mean, for the first half year on Twitch, I didn't even know about chat. I was streaming from my Xbox, and sometimes there were messages popping up in the middle of the screen, and I was like, okay, what's that?
Dude, that is wild, man. You did not know that there was a chat when you first started streaming?
I just, I was on my Xbox, and there was like,
I get it.
Oh, you have to create an account? Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I started out streaming Forza, one of the
Yes.
Forza games.
Yes.
I was a race streamer in the beginning. I did all kinds of racing games.
Dude, mine was Need for Speed. I didn't stream it. So when I say the term ghosting, what does that mean in racing in video games? I might be saying the term wrong. When you're ready for me to explain it, I'll explain it.
Well, it has another meaning for me. Because when I started seriously streaming, I was a Daisy streamer.
Oh.
When you were ghosting someone, then you were basically somebody was in a room.
Yeah.
And then you would stop outside the room, and you would switch servers, and you would go into the room behind them, and we would switch back to the server, and you would shoot them in the back. That was ghosting in DayZ. So they would jump servers so to get behind you.
Wow. So in a sense, that kind of wasn't cheating. You were just manipulating the mechanics of the game.
Yeah, that's been changed now, of course. If you change servers, you end up at the coast, which is miles away from where you're logged out. So
Yeah.
you can't do that anymore.
Okay, so I'll explain.
A lot of people cheated that way.
All right, so I'll explain my term of ghosting in racing games. People would eventually understand with a car, if you can just slightly tap up against the railing of a wall in a racetrack, when you start hitting the G-forces of a curve, your car will ghost in like halfway into the wall, and you will void the drag of therefore keep your momentum of your speed and loop around and pass up drivers even though you're hitting the wall. I'm not sure how it would look like for another player, but for you, your car would kind of be like halfway inside the wall, and your car wouldn't be like bumping around like as it would smack into a wall. People would get frustrated.
I can see that in my head. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes, like a lot of games, like, for instance, like when you're playing a shooter game and you're up against a wall and you switch guns and you happen to have a rifle, but yet the rifle tip goes through the wall. Sometimes people, I mean, this goes back to freaking Atari games. That's how the first Easter egg was found. On Atari, you would play Adventure, and somebody went up against a wall, but pushed up against the wall far enough, and they saw another room, but a room that you could never go to. But inside the room was a message, and it was the name. It was a name. People Googled the name, and people found out that that name was the name of the developer who made the game Adventure. And people said, wait a minute here. And people would send emails to Atari and saying, who is this person? And he got fired because Atari would not tell the customer who made the game. They would just label Atari on there. On the video game credits, they would never give credit to any of the artists, any of the game developers, nothing. It was just Atari. So the coder put the first Easter egg in to give himself credit as the maker of the game. And that's how Easter egg games started. That's how Easter eggs. Other developers caught wind of that and said, I'm gonna put something in my game and hide it. And let's see. One of the most interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
That's really awesome.
Oh,
Started that way.
Yeah, it started from Adventure. That's the very first credited Easter egg. There was, I think it might have been a Resident Evil game. There was a developer who wanted to show his love and devotion to his wife. And he put an Easter egg in the game where, now mind you, I'm not sure if it was Resident Evil, but there was a game where you walk in and there's a dresser. But if you open one of the dressers like 200 plus times, open, close it, open, close it, open, close it. Once you hit that exact count, a letter would appear in the drawer, and you look at it and it is a legit love letter. The game developer giving a love letter to his wife and saying how much he loves her. And it has nothing to do with the game. You just, if you for some reason just happen to be goofing around and open up the drawer, you would get this letter and it would be like, what? Who is this?
You know what, man? I'll be right back. I'm just gonna open every locker in every Resident Evil game 200 times. Might be a little while.
But the thing is, gamers do stuff like that. I gotta find some kind of glitch. Let me open up this cabinet a couple times. Oh my gosh, man. But one of the greatest moments.
What separates the hardcore gamers from the casuals? Yeah.
One of the greatest game changers in gaming history was when Doom was the first company that gave the gaming community the code to change Doom. And it was
what I remember best about Doom?
Go ahead.
It was the first network multiplayer game I ever played against other people.
Oh,
We had the two 286 computers.
yes.
Remember that processor? We had 286 computers linked together with a coaxial cable.
Yeah.
And we sat there and we played Doom against each other on
Wow.
the screen. And because the computer was so crap, you had to minimize the game screen. You couldn't minimize the game screen, so it was just like maybe 4 inches in the middle of the screen where you could see the game moving.
Yeah.
Computers were so crap.
Wow, man. There's so much great moments in video gaming history that I think a lot of it's unfortunate for a lot of the new generation of kids growing up learning games, because all they know is that mommy and daddy go to the store, buy the game, or go online and just digitally buy it, and then they play it, for a couple of days, and then they move on to the next one.
Yeah, but then there's the thing with every generation. It's that every generation that has come before
Yeah.
has experienced so many things that the next generation will never experience.
Right.
And the next generation are gonna experience so many things that the previous
Right.
generation didn't experience. And that goes for
Right.
everybody who's young now and who's coming later. They will experience so many things that we could not even imagine.
I had a great experience with my cousin's kids one time, and we were talking about language, and I told them about Assassin's Creed, and I remember that conversation, and then I went to work, and one of a mother at work was having issues with her son playing video games. And she looked at me and said, "Adam, you stream video games, but you're well educated." And I was like, "Wow!" Like I said to myself, I'm like, "Wow, thanks," And she goes, "You tell me, like, what's good about video games?" And I said to her, I go, "Dude, do you know that a lot of games nowadays, a lot of AAA games, that you can go into the settings and you can change the language to like quite a few: Russian, Chinese, Cantonese." And I said, for instance, like Assassin's Creed, if you go into the language settings, it's a long list. So I personally played the game in certain languages, and I was learning how to talk in another language. Like I was teaching myself how to talk in a different language. And she looked at me and said, like, "Hold on. You're saying that like video games is like a teaching tool?" And I'm like, "Well, that's just one example. Like you play, like the civil, like not the Civil War games, but those like army simulation games, where you they teach you like the trade market and how to control a country and make negotiations with another country and that civilization." I was talking to her about that. And I'm like, sometimes I don't know, I don't know about the, how a proper economy works, or I don't know how like taxes work. I technically can just go and buy a game and it'll teach me the basic foundations of, or I can, play Sims and Sims will teach me like, hey, I got to take a shower. I got to go to the bathroom. I got to go get a job. if you look outside of the box, there's a lot of video games that they
You're-
do this and
you're-
do that, and
You're
she-
absolutely right about that, though. There's so much educational content
Right.
get from video games that you don't learn in school.
exactly.
Because you know,
Um,
there are so many things in life that would have been so nice to have known if you have learned them in school, but then games come along and they provide another
Right.
medium for us to learn.
Right.
And it's not just the dumb entertainment as it was like
Yeah.
maybe 40 years ago or something.
But here's
But
another question that she told me. She goes, "Okay, you helped me on my question about my son playing video games. I have a bigger understanding of what the game can do for my son. But here's another question, Adam. Like, I don't get this, like, why people watch you play video games." Now she was just having fun with me and just, you know, asking like just random questions that she's probably been thinking about for a long time.
dude, I have siblings who ask the same thing.
Yeah.
Don't understand Twitch.
And she's like, I don't get it. So, it is that I can almost say I've read more books. Yes, Jedi. Skyrim. I've read so many books in Skyrim. So I tried my best to answer this question for this lady, my coworker, and I'm like, well, there was this one time I was playing some random game. And this little kid came into my stream and he told me how old he was and he was doing homework. And if his mom and dad walks into his room right now and catch him watching a stream, watching a video game on his computer, because he should be doing his homework, that he'll get in trouble and they'll take his computer away or turn off the internet. So I told this coworker, I'm like, even though I'm playing a video game and I'm streaming, I have to realize that I hold a great responsibility for, like, that I have to realize that there was a younger audience, and the kid was asking questions about his homework, and I'm playing a video game that has nothing to do with his homework, and it was math questions. And then all of us, my viewers, including myself, we all helped him do his homework on my stream. Even though I knew he could have possibly get in trouble, you know, and get grounded. And she's like, I don't get it. Like, so, like, everybody just helped him do his homework, and I'm like, there's a lot of like loving and caring people who give a shit in the gaming community and understand that everybody has a real life outside of gaming, and people have to do homework, and people have to do chores, and people have wives, and people have kids, and we can't spend 24 hours watching streams. So of course we're going to stop and take the time to help each other out and get stuff done so we can do the things that we want to do.
Still, the world is more and more a digital reality.
Yeah.
A lot of people from the past, they come from a time where relationships often were more prevalent in real life, and a lot of us growing up now, we can say that we have more friends over the internet just through chats and other places that we may not even know the name of. We may not even know what they look like or what gender they are or whatever, but we've grown fond attachments to them, and they are our friends, and maybe we don't have any in that.
Exactly.
We get that social release through these platforms.
I would have to say, if I had the resources to really travel, I could shoot out a tweet or in my social media, and I would have a place to live, or a place to stay, in a lot of countries and in a lot of states, all I have to say is, hey, I'm coming into town. And I mean by just reaching out to my viewers. I'm like, hey, you know, so-and-so, I'm coming into town. And I would almost say my percentage of them saying, for them to reply and say, you're staying at my place, I would have that honor. Definitely in Texas, definitely in Holland, definitely in the UK. I have plenty of friends that would go, USC's coming. Mom, Dad, USC's coming and he's staying with us. They would be going like, what? Like, okay.
Yeah, can you imagine if you didn't have these online connections?
Oh, I can't.
Not
I don't.
anywhere.
I don't know what the hell I would be doing if I didn't
Yeah,
have all of you
would
guys.
come to any new place you came to, and there was absolutely no chance of knowing anyone there
Yeah,
whatsoever.
yeah. But dude, like all of our friends that we know online, dude, man, the amount of time and quality when they share their knowledge with you. Black Dragon yesterday was so infatuated with wanting me to watch this particular video, and it was a video about something to help me understand life better. Dude, man, you have so many people. I know so many people that just want to live life to the best that they can be, and I have this luxury of knowing all of these people, and I get all of this information all in one day. USC, do you know the best tea? USC, I like this kind of food. I like this kind of water. Do this, go do that. Watch this movie. Play this song. I love it. This song makes me cry. This song makes me happy. And I'm like, I wake up every day and I'm like, dude, if I had all of you guys, I could just open up my door and just drive to this person's house, that person's house in like a minute's time. Dude, my life, people would be like, dude, you know that one.
Sounds like a real life streaming opportunity.
Dude, it can happen. People would go, dude, man, you know that one dude with the entourage of all them cool motherfuckers? Anything you can think of, one of them fucking is like a genius. Is like on the topic, ribs, food, music, dancing, freaking art. I'm sneaking in again. Oh, Ava came back. Ava, I'm having one of the most amazing times talking to CR Nelson in my Discord.
How are you doing, Ava?
Do you remember CR? Do you remember Ava? You don't remember, right?
I'm kind of
You've been away for.
I'm not very good with names, really. Not in real life.
Right. Yeah. Oh, Ava remembers you. Okay.
Yeah. I might remember them from interactions, but when
Yeah,
it comes
yeah.
to names, if I don't have a connection with people for
Yeah.
a few months, I completely forget their name and stuff.
Well, let me give a rundown.
That's just how my mind works.
I'll give a rundown to Ava because she only has a very limited amount of time because she's at work. So Ava, I've known CR Nelson for a long time, but today I learned that he practices the katana, and I think he mentioned way back that he streamed and he showed me his streaming equipment that he still streams, and he's getting back into skateboarding.
When I've streamed twice in the last year, I wouldn't really call myself as actively streaming.
But one of the most exciting things that he said was that he would host. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you would host like music gatherings, kind of like a festival. Like maybe festivals,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, so basically the thing was this, that we really like music festivals, and
Yeah.
there were local music festivals, but there was some of these pubs around, and they had like sometimes they had concerts for like
Right.
local bands, and I saw that some of the local bands had some of the most popular local bands had this Wednesday concert, and I went there, and there were like 5 people there, and most of them were parents of the band. I was like, okay, well, you have these big ass concerts here where there are hundreds and thousands of people coming to watch, so why don't we do something for the local band? So
Yeah.
me and a few friends, we went around to the other high schools and stuff, and we just gathered, young local bands and all kinds of musical artists who just wanted some kind of some kind of, yeah, I don't know, I don't know how to word myself, but we made it happen. We made our own local music festival for small local bands, and we pulled hundreds of people, and we never had so many people watching them before, and it was mad, and it was crazy, and it was great.
Yeah. You just reminded me of a crazy dream. It wasn't a dream, it was a wish that I wanted to do when I started streaming. When I started meeting all of you guys. I wanted to create a hub, a streaming hub. When I started streaming, I noticed that there was streamers that were piggyback riding on other streamers to meet up at any kind of gathering, if it was like concerts or like a Twitch event or a Comic-Con and all that. And I was already noticing even back then that I always had this way of being the middleman to unite other people to get together to talk. And I said, okay, if I had the money and I would create a center hub, a house.
Hello, Adam.
Hey, Bolo.
So Tavi wanted to know, his birthday is coming up, and he wants to know what's the best website that he can buy Pokemon on. Ask Chet.
Well, boys, we got a major question.
I can't say that I have any idea where the best place to buy Pokemon is.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy.
His dad needs help. I need to know.
He can hear you.
Hey, Adam, I don't know anything about any of this stuff. So when we started doing research on where to buy these Pokemon cards, it turned out that a lot of these websites are fake, or selling fake cards. And then I started realizing it's this weird, seedy underbelly of games and cards and stuff that's like, who do I trust?
Yes. I do know somebody, and he's he's a relative of ours, and I'm not sure if he was a Pokemon champion or a Magic the Gathering tournament champion locally in our town. If I try to reach out to him, okay, back to work. All right, Ava. Ava's gonna get in trouble. I do know somebody. Okay, there is a card place that is very reputable, and it's called it's heading towards Niles, and it's called fantasy.
carding games. I think I know which one you're talking about.
It's close to that one place.
But we were thinking that maybe your
stream.
Your streamers might have some opinions or might have a good source to
Digitally.
Yeah.
Okay. I would have to say some of the viewers that play Pokemon are not here. I don't know, without a doubt, a lot of my viewers are thinking about it. Right now nobody's giving me an answer, but everybody's listening in, and
Yeah. Well, Tommy just wanted to know because he's like crazy about that Pokemon.
yeah, that's fine. My best bet if I was by myself. Oh, now they are questioning if I'm going to play Pokemon. Hakari, they're wanting to buy legit Pokemon cards, but they've been getting these vibes that some of these digital websites that you buy cards, they're not real.
Or they're selling fake stuff.
Yeah. Correctly. The only place that I know that is a safe place to buy cards is that one gaming fantasy store place heading towards Niles, because they hold professional tournaments there, and those guys would know which websites to go to buy.
Well, Alex mentioned another place he just discovered in
It's
town.
called Rivals Gaming. It's over by Popeyes.
Okay, that I have no idea. The other place that I know that would probably be a reputable place is here in town, and it's called the Griffin.
Oh, the Griffin!
Yeah.
3 points for Gryffindor!
Yeah. Hold on. Hakari says nowadays Pokemon cards should come with a QR code for authenticity proof.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
But the QR code is in the package, so you have to open the package.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Jedi.
Here's my experience, Adam, is that we have purchased Pokemon cards from Amazon in the past, and they came in and they were bootleg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Complete bootleg. It was crazy.
Yeah.
No. Nope. That's not gonna work.
Really cool Pokemon cards. It said like a bunch of good GXs and EXs, and then when I got it, it was just all fake cards. All.
Yeah.
The hollow didn't gram. The back was all plastic.
Yeah. Yeah, Jedi tried to give me a site, and either he typed it in wrong or anything, but yeah, that site was the wrong site. The safe.
If anyone's got some info that they
Right.
It's all good.
TCG Player website. Here, I'll look that up.
No, you said CC. You said
TCG
Player website. The
Player.
official Pokemon online game website.
TCG?
Yeah.
TCG Player. I'm on the website myself.
Yeah. It's official.
Okay, so you did know about this website.
Yeah. But TCG is more like playing Pokemon online. It's not that much about like buying.
Okay, but it has a forum. Does it have a forum area?
I'm sure. I'm not. You should talk to Tavia, right, Adam? This
Or-
is Tavi.
Or even Reddit.
There's a website. It's called CCG Castle, where all the Pokemon YouTubers get their Pokemon cards. So me and my dad checked that out. But it was just like only like they're selling just the cards or like just booster packs. And if they're selling like big good boxes of Pokemon cards, it was really expensive. So
Okay. I was almost thinking about going on to Reddit and ask the question. Or go on Twitter. God, there's so many options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now you know why it's hard for me, because I'm so disconnected. I don't know what to believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have to say I would have an answer, but it's in such short notice because we do have family.
Yeah, take some time. Some time.
Yeah. Here, let me reach out. Let me shoot a message on Facebook to his brother. Well, so far, you guys, the podcast has been going really great. Yeah.
Oh, you started it?
Yeah, it's going on right now.
Oh.
Also Collector Cash. Is that a name of a website as well?
Collector Cash. I've never heard of that before.
Let's see.
Okay. We have to eat.
Yep.
All right, Adam. Nice
All right.
talking.
Yep.
Yeah, we
Bye-bye.
eat it later. All right. See ya. Have a good stream.
Yep. Okay, I shot a message out. All right. Well, that was interesting.